This is CBC Windsor News. I'm Jennifer LaGrassa. Thanks for watching. A correctional officer at a local jail has been charged by Windsor police for allegedly sexually assaulting an inmate. CBC's Jacob Barker reports.
Windsor police have laid charges against a correctional officer for sexual assault of an inmate. They've named the officer as 47-year-old Christopher Rylette. Police did not name the facility where the assault allegedly happened, but the Southwest Detention Center is the only jail in the area. Windsor police say the offenses happened between May and November of this year. That's when the officer was assigned to supervise female inmates. After investigation, the officer was charged with sexual assault and breach of public trust. Investigators in the case believe there could be other victims who have not come forward and are urging them to do so. Patricia Brown, a local defense lawyer, reiterated the importance of remembering the presumption of innocence in this case, but she says that if the allegations are true, the charges are very troubling.
You have to remember that accused persons who are incarcerated are extremely vulnerable. They are prone to being subjected to anything that comes at them in the correctional facility. So if somebody is manipulating them or engaged in sexually inappropriate behavior or they are being sexually assaulted, this is extremely troubling because you can't get out. There's no way out. The control that guards have over inmates, locking them in cells, detaining them, sanctioning them, consequenting them, all of those things are troubling because, I'm not privy to the allegations. I don't know exactly what the circumstances are, but this is extremely serious and concerning for the vulnerability of accused persons while incarcerated.
We were unable to reach anyone with the union representing workers at Southwest Detention Center. The Office of the Solicitor General refused to provide any information as they say the matter is before the court. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Windsor.
A 26-year-old Windsor woman who police allege was murdered in a case of intimate partner violence is being identified as Ravina Mayira. CBC News confirmed her identity through two people who knew her. CBC's Dalson Chen has more on who Ravina was.
The woman who died in Windsor's most recent homicide case had dreams of business success with the man accused of killing her. Ravina Mayira, 26, was the longtime girlfriend of 29-year-old Daniel Assing, who's now facing a charge of first-degree murder. Windsor resident Alyssa Butler was a neighbor to the couple for 2 years.
They were always with each other, always working. I never saw them argue or fight with each other. They were healthy, and their living room was actually a gym. Like, they worked out, they were serious about that, both of them. Very kind, always polite. All around, just wonderful people.
An organizer in the business community also confirmed the couple's names and their business venture. Originally from the Toronto area, the couple came to Windsor, Essex around 2020. They had backgrounds in fitness coaching and culinary work. In 2021, they launched Pure Vibes Nutrition, a beverage business with a storefront in Bell River. The couple often appeared on social media together to promote their menu of juices, protein shakes, teas, and coffee drinks.
That was the main goal and priority. They had spent a lot of time and a lot of money and detail on trying to get that off the ground. It was a team effort, very much.
Windsor police have described the case as a fatal incident of intimate partner violence. Assing remains in custody since his arrest early Wednesday. The charge against him has not been tested in court. On Thursday, forensic officers could be seen examining the couple's residence on Langlois Avenue. Police are now seeking video evidence of the movements of Assing's vehicle in the neighborhood on the night in question. Alyssa Butler says those who knew the couple are feeling heartbroken.
You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. If you would have told me anybody else, I might have said, okay, but not those two. They were good. They were good kids. Just shocking.
Mayira's death was Windsor's fourth homicide of 2025. Dalson Chen, CBC News, Windsor.
New addiction treatment services are now available in Windsor, Essex. The long-awaited Heart Hub, which stands for Homelessness and Addiction Recovery Treatment, is open and operational. That's according to a spokesperson for the Minister of Health. The services include extra beds for people in recovery, mental health, and addiction treatment support. CBC News was previously told that these supports would be spread across existing organizations. Now, it's unclear when the Heart Hub services became available as earlier this week, Windsor-Tecumseh MPP Andrew Dowie told City Council that he was waiting for them to come online. The province approved 28 heart hubs across Ontario and wanted them open by April 1st. They're part of the provincial government's shift away from harm reduction, like safe injection sites, and towards treatment. Colette Kennedy is here. Colette, it was a day of sunshine. I got out today for a little walk and I just absorbed the sun coming on me.
Yeah, some incredible sunshine and temperatures into southwestern Ontario, but not pressing the rest of the way into the province. Now, I thought we'd have more clouds pulling in. I'm ready to admit that in the afternoon, and we stayed in the sun, so let's take it. Still, we were looking at a high of 13 degrees, Sarnia as well, but notice all the single-digit highs pressing a little further towards the east. We do have the dry conditions as we head through the overnight hours. The next system, I know it seems a ways away, but that's what's going to be moving towards us and having an impact as we go into Saturday. So a chance of showers after we get through the lunch hour. Should be very light in nature. And how about that daytime high? More coming up on the weekend forecast.
Thanks, Colette. A local fertility clinic is celebrating new provincial funding. Money, it says, that will go a long way to help couples who are struggling to have a baby. Sonia Varma reports.
This Windsor couple are just weeks away from becoming parents. It's after a 2-year effort and 4 rounds of in vitro fertilization.
Total per round, if we broke it down, probably about 20,000 per round. Yeah. For everything all together.
While they couldn't access provincial funding, the couple says having a family was a priority, so they made it work. But they know for others, provincial help could be a game changer.
I think that's a great opportunity and a level of support that's being provided by the province.
Yeah, and I think it will help a lot of people be able to divert their funds towards some of the extra testing that is available as well.
This year, Ontario announced an additional $250 million in funding for IVF. The money is spread out among a few dozen clinics. This month, Victory Reproductive Care heard it will get $1.6 million of that funding. It translates into 163 cycles of IVF. Dr. Rahi Victory says it will not just shorten wait times, but open treatment up to couples for who before it was out of reach.
I think it's going to bring a different group of patients to us. I think the patients that want to start families and are committed to starting families are often willing to pay and don't necessarily want to wait, and so they'll just do what they need to do to make it work. For the ones where it's just cost prohibitive, they're now going to have access.
Infertility affects about 1 in 6 Canadian couples. Both Harrison and Ho say it's not just funding that's needed, but centralized resources that could help struggling couples find the information they need. Sonia Varma, CBC News, Windsor.
Starting Friday, speed cameras are gone across Ontario. Doug Ford called them a cash grab for municipalities that didn't work, despite a study finding they did cut down on speeding. Now, cities are looking at next steps. Queen's Park reporter Lorenda Redekop has that story.
Vandals repeatedly damaged the speed camera on Parkside Drive in Toronto and others. Now their days of catching speeders are over, ordered out of commission by the Ford government.
It felt like a make-work project. Install the cameras, okay, a few years later, get rid of the cameras, hire the staff, fire the staff.
Toronto's mayor says they helped keep kids safe and that they weren't a cash grab, with the revenue going towards safety measures.
Oh, but put some more speed bumps in. But we're going to take away your money that you used to put in the speed bumps. You have to apply for it. Who knows how long it's going to be?
She's referring to money the province is adding for road safety initiatives, $210 million, $42 million of it immediately. Last night, the transportation minister sent letters to municipalities affected on the amounts. For the rest of the money, towns and cities can apply for it early next year. He says the province doesn't believe speed cameras are the answer.
For example, if you put a speed bump in place and individuals just physically cannot take their vehicle over that at high speeds through a speed camera, you can still rip through a community safety zone or a school zone at a very high speed.
One expert who likes the cameras agrees those other measures the government wants help.
The Premier is right. We do need things like speed bumps and wider sidewalks and crosswalks to make the road safer. That costs money, but the cost of all these injuries and deaths are catastrophic.
Mississauga's mayor says so far it's not enough money.
$2.2 million for some repair work, speed bumps, that'll put in about a half a dozen. I think we'll need a bit more.
And she's concerned drivers will be more likely to speed.
I'm a little worried that people feel some sort of relief and say, okay, we can put the pedal to the metal and away we go.
Brampton's Mayor Patrick Brown is also disappointed.
We have some bad drivers in Brampton, and I thought this was working. It frankly changed behaviors. We saw speeding reduced by almost 50% in the school zones.
But he's now looking at repurposing the cameras.
And that's going to be the red light cameras, the decibel readings for souped up mufflers where we can actually issue tickets, and of course to aid police investigations.
Giving new life to cameras that have been so divisive. Lorenda Redicomp, CBC News, Toronto.
Dining out at a fast food restaurant used to be cheap, but budget-friendly staples like burgers and fries aren't so friendly anymore. The CBC's Jenna Benchtrit looks at what caused the cost increase.
Fast food is getting too expensive.
It's really the price that has stopped me.
You're spending $15 at least if you want to get a proper full meal, and that's just not sustainable.
That spells trouble for big chains like Chipotle, which is having a harder time getting Gen Z through the door. The brand hasn't sold as much as it was expecting to this year.
What we've noticed is a category slowdown for the 25 to 34-year-olds that are under the most financial pressure.
And Chipotle isn't the only chain noticing a pullback. McDonald's recently said it isn't expecting as many sales from low-income diners next year. So how did fast food go from budget-friendly to overly expensive?
We are seeing higher labor costs, higher food costs, and therefore the average eater check when you go out is higher than it has been in years past.
The price of ground beef, for example, has skyrocketed. 1 kilogram now costs more than $14. 5 years ago, that number was closer to $9. So a lot of these chains are trying to win back cost-conscious consumers with promotions. Burger King says it's seeing more traffic from meal deals like this one.
Burger King has a deal for all.
And a recent survey shows that Gen Z says promotions are a major consideration when they're choosing a restaurant.
We know that younger people, they're looking for value meals. So this is one strategy that a lot of restaurants are using to remain competitive.
The thing is, a good meal deal at one particular restaurant won't necessarily keep a customer coming back.
They may not be brand loyal, so they'll switch to different brands based on the value offerings.
They might also just be snacking more. You know, girl dinner.
That's a perfect bite.
Young people in particular are telling us that they're replacing traditional meals with snacks, and that could speak to cost concerns or maybe just how fast-paced their lives are.
Chipotle says its biggest competitor for young adults isn't another restaurant. It's the grocery store.
I shouldn't be spending this much money on food, so sometimes I make something at home and eat it here.
I try to cook more now. I'm a very bad chef, but I still try.
The fight is really going to be around this Gen Z and this alpha consumer in getting their share of spend over the next couple of years.
Jenna Benchtrit, CBC News, Toronto.
An ancestor of the modern alligator and crocodile has been discovered, an ancestor from 240 million years ago. Vertebrae, the lower jaw and the pelvis were unearthed this spring. Those bones formed this image. The reptile roamed what's now southern Brazil during the Triassic period, just before dinosaurs became dominant. The teeth indicate it was a predator. Scientists are especially interested in similarities with specimens from East Africa. It's more evidence indicating the continents were linked in Triassic times, sharing plants and wildlife. Now, earlier in the show, we told you that the local Heart Hub has opened in Windsor. It was unclear when it started up. We just heard from the Ministry of Health that it opened September 29th and is mainly located at Hotel du Grace Healthcare. A look outside, a beautiful day. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Dozens of protesters are making their presence felt at the COP30 climate summit in Brazil. Our CBC News team on the ground there captured local indigenous people blockading the main entrance. They're demanding an end to development projects in the Amazon, like mining and logging. CBC International climate correspondent Susan Ormiston brings us the details.
A face-off this morning just outside the COP venue in Belém. A long line of indigenous people blocked the main road to the entrance to the venue. They were there since 5 a.m. this morning, standing ground, trying to get the delegates inside to listen to their concerns. They want more protection for indigenous land in Brazil, also worried about any potential future oil drilling near the mouth of the Amazon River. They say they want more voice inside the big meetings called the plenaries here. A large other group of people was down the road here, civil society supporting the Indigenous people, and they forced the president of COP30 to come out of the building to speak with them. He spoke for a long time, and then, in quite a dramatic scene, he was escorted by the Indigenous people down this road, outside, and over to a more secure area where they are having a dialogue.
There are more than 500 indigenous Brazilians in the delegation. So it's just that it's a group that we have to see how we integrate them better to the delegation.
Indigenous claims were always going to be part of COP30. It's partly why the Brazilian president brought these climate negotiations here. A larger march is planned for Belém tomorrow. Meanwhile, this is wrapping up the end of a first week here at COP30, where negotiators are digging into the very thorny issues of climate finance and how to find a path towards transitioning away from oil and gas, which is the promise they made 2 years ago in Dubai, but haven't yet found a plan to take that on. The conference will continue on into the weekend and then resume next week. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Belém, Brazil.
In the Middle East, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continues to hold after 5 weeks, but phase 2 of the U.S. brokered peace plan could have some hurdles to clear. The U.S. is pressing the UN Security Council to authorize a temporary stabilization force in Gaza to protect civilians and secure aid routes. But the proposal is meeting strong resistance from Russia, China, and several Arab states. CBC's Tom Perry is in Jerusalem with more.
What the U.S. is looking for is for the United Nations Security Council to give its backing to Donald Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza. We've seen phase 1 of that plan in effect right now. The fighting, for the most part, is stopped in Gaza. Aid is getting in. Israeli hostages have been released. One of the last remaining deceased hostages, their remains were returned to Israel last night. Palestinian prisoners have been freed in return. Phase 2 of this agreement calls for Gaza to be demilitarized, for there to be a board of peace headed by Donald Trump to oversee a transitional government, and for an international stabilization force to go in and work with Palestinian police to provide security in Gaza. What the U.S. wants is the UN's legitimacy on this peace plan so that countries would be more willing to send troops as part of this international stabilization force. We've seen some countries mentioned, like Azerbaijan and Indonesia, but no one has put a firm offer on the table. So by getting the UN's backing, some more countries might come forward. But the fact is there are other complicating factors. Part of this peace deal calls for Hamas to put down its weapons, to disarm. Hamas has not done that. And so countries, even with a UN resolution, might still be reluctant to send their people into Gaza if they're going to come face to face with armed militants. Now, as the U.S. is trying to get this through the Security Council, countries like Russia, China, some Arab countries are raising questions of their own. The Russians have put forward their own resolution, which they say is simpler and more unified, this while they're pursuing their own war in Ukraine. But what the U.S. says is that all these countries are really trying to do is sow discord. Tom Perry, CBC News, Jerusalem.
When we come back, we'll have your full weekend weather forecast, so stay with us. Colette Kennedy is back with us. Colette, change of seasons can be a hard time for some people. So I wanted to know, what is your bright spot as the weather changes? What do you look forward to?
Well, I mean, we're getting into later November, right? Or at least mid. So it's the holidays for me, thinking about all of that. I'm not a winter person. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about it till after the holidays because that'll keep my spirits up. What about you?
I like that. I would say my cup of coffee. That's what I look forward to, the nice warmth on the chilly days.
Yes, yes. Well, I do like my lattes in the morning too, so there is that on a daily basis. Let's get you into what's going on. A lot kind of happening through the weekend with the system that's coming through. So we have a current temperature of 8 degrees after having a beautiful high of 13. Our wind gusts, though, as we go through time, we're actually going to look at these again. So I just want to show you that on Sunday, we've got some breezy conditions. We'll come back to that. For tonight, not a lot of activity, other than some clouds will be on the increase, but it has to do with the system that's still way out here in the southern parts of the eastern prairies, and that's going to be making its way over towards us through the overnight hours, and there'll be kind of a transfer of some energy. There's an area of low pressure further north that pushes some of its energy down here towards the Great Lakes. We're still in the warm sector, in fact, even warmer tomorrow than today. We're headed to the mid to upper teens, but breezy southwesterly winds. And then on the backside of this, we'll get into the cooler air. But in the meantime, a chance for some showers tomorrow, kind of after the lunch hour, I would say, or at least more likely after the lunch hour. I do think for Windsor to Sarnia, Chatham-Kent, through this region, they're going to be kind of scattered in nature and light. And some areas are just going to stay completely dry and not even see any of it, because the heart of this system is moving across Georgian Bay and into eastern Ontario, and that's where there'll be heavier precipitation. If you are traveling, however, on Sunday, know that there will be some squalls coming off the lakes, and Goddards towards London are kind of in that range, depending how those winds shift, could be a little bit troublesome on the roads. But look at this, maybe 1 to 2 millimeters, perhaps nothing further back towards Windsor. I said I'd take another look at those winds, and this is what I want to show you, is that on Sunday, some of those gusts may be 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. It is a mild night tonight, and in fact, we'll reach our low close to midnight, and then things warm up to that 17 degrees, but it's that one day only, although we've actually had a few days before it cools back down again.
Oh, wow, that 17-degree day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a good weekend.